Lance, the champion of Kanto and Johto. Leon, the champion of Galar. These two powerful trainers battled early on in Pokemon Journeys, and it was a pretty good battle. Both trainers showed off their strengths and power. This battle served as our introduction to the Pokemon World Championships and helped Ash to create his goal of wanting to one day defeat Leon. But there are details in this battle that you might have missed. We all know this was Lance's first appearance since the Advanced Generation during the Scuffle of Legends. But what you probably missed was that Leon uses a similar battling tactic that Red used in Pokemon Origins. Hey Pokemon Champions, I'm Champion Blaze and this is a breakdown of Lance vs Leon in Pokemon Journeys Episode 12. Flash of the Titans. We'll uncover all the little hidden details and Easter eggs that you probably missed during this episode. Be sure to comment any references and details I might have missed myself, and with that being said, let's dive into this Battle of Champions. The episode begins with Ash and Go receiving their tickets from Professor Cerise to attend the Masters 8 Finals at Winden Stadium in the Galar region. Professor Cerise is voiced by Ray Chase, and outside of Pokemon, he's also voiced Rubber Soul from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Tenga Onigawara from Mob Psycho 100, Aaron Kruger from Attack on Titan, Tengen Uzui from Demon Slayer, and Master of Masters from Kingdom Hearts. When the title card of the episode is revealed, it's shown that this episode is called Flash of the Titans, which is a reference to the 1981 classic film Clash of the Titans and its 2010 remake. Both Ash and Go read off the title card as well to symbolize how this is the first time in Pokemon's history where we have two dedicated main protagonists. Go isn't just a main character like Brock or Dawn, but is a second main protagonist. As Ash and Go take their flight to the Galar region, we get our first look at the legendary Pokemon Eternatus, although we don't see its entire body and get more of a glimpse of it, since this is meant to foreshadow its official reveal during the Darkest Day arc at the end of Pokemon Journey Season 1. And this foreshadowing is pretty underwhelming since it takes so long for Eternatus to actually appear officially, and they don't even do much to acknowledge this, so like, why did they even bother? We then finally arrive in Galar and head to Winden Stadium to witness a battle between champions. Well, kinda. We're introduced to the Pokemon World Championships, or Pokemon World Coronation Series in the dub, and the first trainer introduced is Lance, who is mentioned to be one of Kanto's Elite Four. This would imply that at some point between the Advanced Generation and Pokemon Journeys, Lance was defeated and thus lost his champion title, making him revert to just an Elite Four member. But we see that by the end of the series, he has become the champion of both the Kanto and Johto regions. The announcer also makes note of how Lance uses powerful offensive attacks in his battles, referencing his sheer strength as a Dragon Master and the powerful Pokemon he uses on his team. It's also mentioned how he won the Pokemon World Tournament in Driftvale City in Unova, and this is the tournament where you can battle gym leaders, Elite Four members, champions, and even special trainers from all previous Pokemon games during the time of Generation 5. The announcer even mentions how Lance is a member of the Pokemon G-Men. Yes, that's clearly an X-Men reference. This is the organization that Lance mentioned he was a part of back during Ash's travels in Johto when they were working together to stop Team Rocket at the Lake of Rage. And speaking of Team Rocket, when we see James in this episode wearing his disguise, the symbol on his shirt is very much akin to that of the real-world NASA logo. Lance is also seen here sporting his in-game outfit from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which he would go on later to say at the end of the battle that this outfit was inspired by the gym trainers at the Dragon Gym of Hammerlock City, since he used to train there. Leon is then introduced as Galar's champion and as the undefeated champion. The winner of the tournament in both the sub and dub is referred to as Monarch, and this could be a reference to the English monarchy that rules over the United Kingdom and controlled much of the world for many centuries. Leon is called the King of the Kingdom, which is again probably another reference to England and the United Kingdom as a whole, since Galar is based off the United Kingdom. The announcer declares that this battle will be a 1v1, which I have so many questions about. Later on in the Masters 8 Finals at the end of the series, we see Ash and Leon engage in a full 6-on-6 battle. Even Ash versus Cynthia in the semi-finals was a full 6-on-6 battle. So why here, in this Masters 8 final, is the battle a 1v1? I get they probably didn't want to do a full battle this early in the series, since this is just our introduction into what this tournament is after all, but I'm just saying that it makes no sense that this grand tournament came down to a simple 1v1 in the finals. If I was anyone in those stands, I'd be mad this isn't a full battle. Before the battle begins, both Lance and Leon actually paraphrase dialogue from their in-game counterparts. Lance says,
"There's no need for words now. We will battle to determine who's stronger!"
Which paraphrases, "There's no need for words now. We will battle to determine who is the stronger of the two of us." Leon then says,
"Are you able to feel it, Lance? Huh? To witness the tense still air on the pitch, the opposite from the audience cheering and yelling. Both fantastic, wouldn't you say?
Which paraphrases the tense, still air on the pitch, and the exact opposite from the audience cheering and yelling. They're both fantastic, wouldn't you say? He then goes on to say,
But remember, the audience is also a bit cruel. They want nothing more than to see one of us lose after all. But I love pushing past the fear. I love giving it everything I've got as a trainer. It's the greatest feeling, and I can't get enough of it.
Which paraphrases, but remember, the audience is also a bit cruel. They want nothing more than to see one of us lose after all. It can fill you with fear knowing that, but I absolutely love pushing past the fear. I love giving it everything I've got as a trainer and seeing my team giving it everything they've got to seize another victory. It's the greatest feeling in the world and I can't get enough of it. Now that Lance is back in the Pokemon anime after so many years, so is his original voice actor, Wayne Grayson. He has also voiced characters such as Harrison back in the Johto saga, and outside of Pokemon, he's also voiced Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the 2003 series, Cyrus Truesdale from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Bolt Tanner from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and Yosaku from One Piece. Leon is voiced by Alejandro Saab. He also voices Rourke and Professor Kukui from Pokemon Masters, and outside of Pokemon, he's also done the voices for Franz Valo from Code Geass, Yuto Keta from All Out, and Ares from Chain Chronicle. Both trainers send out their Pokemon, with Leon calling upon his trusty ace Charizard, and Lance calling upon his iconic and formidable Red Gyarados. The announcer actually makes a mistake when describing Lance's Gyarados, as he says it evolved from a gold Magikarp. Now, normally, yes, one would obtain a Red Gyarados if they evolved a gold Magikarp, which is Magikarp's official shiny coloration. But back in Johto, Lance just outright caught this Gyarados fully evolved, as the Magikarp had already forcefully evolved through Team Rocket's evolution inducing waves. Although, it's highly unlikely that the announcer would have any knowledge of those events, so it's not his fault. I also find it weird that when their Pokemon hit the field, neither of them says anything like, Gyarados, come on out, or Charizard, let's go. Like, watch this. Man doesn't say anything. Now here's Leon. Again, the man says nothing. Like, why? When Gyarados comes out of its Pokeball, we can see the sparkle effect that a shiny Pokemon would get when sent into a battle in the games. It's actually exactly the same as in Generation 4. This is also the first time we've gotten the sparkle animation for a shiny Pokemon exiting its Pokeball since the episode A Pokemon of a Different Color, back in Black and White when Claire used her newly caught shiny Druddigon. And this is also Aegislash's first appearance since we last saw it in Ash's full battle against Sawyer back in the Kalos League. The battle begins and Leon has Charizard use Flamethrower, while Lance has Gyarados use Hyper Beam. Both moves clash with tremendous power. Of course, we've seen this Gyarados famously use Hyper Beam in the Johto anime when it was on a rampage, but also during Pokemon Generations as well. With Gyarados unable to move due to using Hyper Beam, Lance strikes with Air Slash, but Gyarados counters by throwing up some rocks to block the attack even while unable to fully move. Seems that just like Ash's Gliscor, Lance's Gyarados has a way to avoid being a sitting duck after using a powerful move that would normally leave the user unable to move. Then Go makes by far one of the dumbest remarks in all of Pokemon by saying this.
Use Flamethrower!
How do you deal with that?
What do you mean, how do you deal with that? Lance literally just countered and overpowered his Flamethrower using Hyper Beam. Were you not watching the same battle as Ash? Moving on, Lance actually takes this moment to use Dragon Dance and takes the direct damage from Flamethrower, which isn't very effective anyways. This is actually a strategy Ash would later adopt with his own Dragonite, using Dragon Dance himself to raise attack and speed while withstanding attacks. Then Lance quickly has Gyarados slap Charizard with a powerful Aqua Tail attack. Lance then uses Ice Fang against Charizard, but Charizard escapes the onslaught and surrounds Gyarados using Fire Spin. This is actually a tactic we've seen before, albeit in a side series. In Pokemon Origins, Red used this same tactic against Blue at the Indigo League to trap Blue's Blastoise. Pretty interesting that both battles featured a Charizard battling a Water-type opponent during a champion-level battle. Lance moves to counter with Ice Fang, but Leon has a trick up his sleeve. He has Charizard use Thunder Punch against Gyarados. After scoring a direct hit, he tells it to use the move repeatedly. In order to defend, Lance tells Gyarados to use Aqua Tail repeatedly. Now if this seems familiar to you, that's because we saw this same type of battling during the Kalos League finals between Ash and Alain. Alain's Mega Charizard X used Thunder Punch repeatedly against Ash's Greninja, while Ash had Greninja use its Water Shuriken to block every attack. Man, I do love me some XY references. Lance and Leon then both Dynamax their Pokemon, making this the anime debut of Dynamax Gyarados and Gigantamax Charizard. Now this battle has been taken to the next level, and actually right before they each Dynamax, Leon quotes himself from the games by saying, "I'll show you what Charizard can really do. It's Gigantamax time."
Now I'll show you what Charizard can really do! Gigantamax!
This portion of the battle gives us our first look at several max moves, being Max Geyser, Max Airstream, Max Strike, Max Lightning, Max Guard, and G-Max Wildfire. After sustaining damage from 3 direct attacks from Max Lightning, Airstream, and Wildfire, Lance's Gyarados becomes unable to battle, making Charizard the winner and Leon the victor. Leon strikes his signature Charizard pose as he is crowned the winner of the Pokemon World Championships, and for some reason isn't awarded a trophy like Ash, since this is the finals of the PWC, so this is just an inconsistent detail, or it's bad writing. Honestly, it's probably both. And actually, earlier in the battle, when Lance uses Max Geyser and Leon uses Max Lightning, Leon quotes himself again from the games by saying, "Aiming for super effective hits is a surefire way to claim victory."
Aiming for super effective hits is the way to victory!
And after Leon wins, Lance again paraphrases his in-game dialogue. He says,
It's an odd feeling. I'm not angry I lost. In fact, I'm happy that I witnessed the rise of a great new monarch.
While in the games, he says this, "It's over, but it's an odd feeling. I'm not angry that I lost. In fact, I feel happy. Happy that I witnessed the rise of a new great champion." And when he speaks to the crowd about Leon's victory, he says this,
Here today, we've witnessed the rise of the greatest monarch in the world. If a trainer has a strong and outstanding nature, their Pokemon will respond. And that's how a trainer grows strong with their Pokemon. As strong as Leon and Charizard!
which paraphrases this line. Your Pokemon have responded to your strong and upstanding nature. As a trainer, you will continue to grow strong with your Pokemon. The episode ends with Team Rocket being Team Rocket, and their schemes result in the debut of Gigantamax Dreadnought beginning to wreak havoc at Winden Stadium. Despite the bad writing of Pokemon Journeys, this was a pretty solid introduction to the Masters 8 and the kinds of battles that could potentially lie ahead. I think my favorite Easter eggs have to be Leon trapping Gyarados with Fire Spin like Red from Pokemon Origins, and Charizard and Gyarados battling the same way as Charizard and Greninja in the Kalos League finals. But these were all the Easter eggs and hidden details and references that I could spot in this episode. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments below and which Easter egg was your favorite. Be sure to subscribe for more breakdowns and Pokemon anime content like this, and to see another battle breakdown, click the video on screen for Ash vs Leon. Until next time, Pokemon champions, train hard, and I'll catch you guys later.